The rain hammered the fire escape like it was trying to break in, mirroring the storm raging inside me after the worst shift of my life at the coffee shop. "Jaden?" I muttered, collapsing onto the couch in our cramped Brooklyn walk-up. "My back's killing me from hauling those damn crates all day. You mind rubbing it out real quick? Just for a minute." His silence stretched too long, heavy as the humid August air, and when his hands finally landed on my shoulders, warm, steady, nothing like the bro tap I'd expected. Something shifted, like the first crack in a dam. I leaned into it, eyes closing against the flicker of our ancient TV playing some forgotten Yankees rerun, figuring this was just two guys scraping by in the city, sharing rent and bad takeout. But Jaden's thumbs pressed deeper, circling knots I didn't know I had, and his breath ghosted my neck. Too close, too deliberate. "Gabe," he said, voice low and rough like gravel under tires. "There's something I gotta tell you, something that could wreck us both." We'd been roommates for 2 years, ever since I answered that sketchy Craigslist ad and found Jaden. Tall, lanky, with that easy grin and a mop of blonde curls that made him look like he'd wandered off a surfboard ad. Unpacking boxes in a space that smelled like fresh paint and regret. I was 25, fresh out of community college with a barista gig and dreams of graphic design gigs that never quite landed. Jaden was 27, a freelance photographer scraping by on wedding shoots and the occasional street portrait, always chasing that one shot that'd make him. We clicked fast. Late-night dives into pizza-fueled debates about Scorsese films. Him dragging me to rooftop parties in Bushwick where I'd nurse a beer while he flirted shamelessly with anyone who caught his eye. He was out and proud, no apologies, while I was still figuring out the label that fit the quiet ache I'd carried since high school locker rooms in Jersey. That night, though, as his hands worked magic on my traps, unraveling the day's bullshit, the rude Karens, the spilled lattes, the gnawing fear I'd never escape this grind. Something electric hummed between us. "You're tense as hell, man," he murmured, fingers splaying across my shoulder blades. "What's eating you?" I shrugged, or tried to, but the motion just pulled a groan from my throat. "Life, I guess. Broke as fuck. Parents calling every week asking when I'm settling down like I'm not even here." His laugh was soft, almost sad. "Yeah, I get that. My folks in Philly still think I'm going through a phase with the whole gay thing. Like it's a bad haircut." The room felt smaller then, the walls closing in with the scent of his cedar cologne mixing with the rain-soaked city outside. His touch lingered, thumbs tracing the line of my spine, and I didn't pull away, couldn't. For the first time, the loneliness that had been my shadow since moving here cracked open, letting in a sliver of light. "Thanks, Jay," I whispered, twisting to face him. Our eyes locked, his green and stormy, mine probably bloodshot from exhaustion, and the air thickened. He didn't move back. Instead, his hand cupped my jaw, thumb brushing my stubble, and before I could overthink it, his lips were on mine. It wasn't fireworks. It was a slow burn, tentative at first, like testing ice on a frozen pond. His mouth was warm, tasting faintly of the IPAs we'd split earlier, and when I kissed back, the world narrowed to the press of his body against mine, the couch creaking under our weight. We broke apart gasping, foreheads touching, and he smiled that crooked smile. Surprised. I nodded, heart slamming like a bass drum. Completely. That was the hook, the line sinking deep. Jaden, my straight-passing roommate who'd hooked up with half the guys at those parties. Seeing me. Really seeing me. The weeks that followed blurred into something straight out of a rom-com I'd never admit to loving. Stolen kisses in the kitchen over burnt toast. His camera capturing me unawares as I sketched logos on napkins. Lazy Sundays tangled in sheets watching the Mets lose spectacularly. He pulled me out of my shell, coaxing confessions I'd buried under layers of denial. The crush on my debate team captain's senior year. The panic that hit when my sister asked point blank if I was into girls only. "You're gay, Gabe," he'd say, tracing lazy circles on my chest. "Or bi, whatever fits. But you're you, and that's enough." With him, it felt true. We were two misfits in the machine of New York, carving out a pocket of real amid the grind. Him landing a gig shooting for a local mag, me pitching designs that finally stuck. But cracks spiderwebbed in, subtle at first. Jaden's phone buzzing late at night. Him slipping into the bathroom with a hushed, "It's nothing." The way he'd zone out during our talks. eyes distant like he was framing a shot he couldn't quite capture. I chalked it up to freelance stress, the city's relentless churn. Until the night of the gallery opening. His big break, portraits of queer icons hung in some Soho loft, critics sipping overpriced wine and nodding like they got it. I showed up in my best button down, nerves jangling as I scanned the crowd for him. There he was, in a slim black shirt that hugged his frame, laughing with a cluster of artsy types. Pride swelled in my chest. My guy killing it. I wove through, ready to pull him into a quick kiss, when I heard it. His voice, low and urgent, from behind a velvet curtain near the back. I can't keep doing this, Marcus. Gabe's, he's everything. But you know why I started this. Marcus. The name hit like a sucker punch. I froze, heart in my throat, peeking through the gap. Jaden faced a guy I vaguely recognized from one of his shoots. Tall, polished, with that effortless Wall Street edge. And Marcus's hand was on Jaden's arm. Possessive. Because I asked you to get close to him, Marcus said, voice smooth as silk but laced with venom. To find out if he was the one who ratted me out to the firm. Embezzlement doesn't just vanish, Jay. You were perfect, charming roommate, easy in. And now you're in love? Pathetic. The world tilted again, harder this time. Betrayal isn't a word. It's a blade, twisting slow. Jaden's face crumpled. But he didn't deny it. I didn't know at first. It was just a job, pose as a roommate, gain his trust, dig for proof. But Gabe, fuck Marcus, he's not like that. Whatever you think he did, it's bullshit. Marcus laughed, cold. Then why the hesitation? One word from me, and your precious gallery dreams evaporate. Sponsors pull funding, whispers spread. You want that on your conscience. I stumbled back, the chatter of the crowd a roar in my ears, bile rising. Me? Rat someone out? I'd barely known Marcus, some finance bro Jaden had photographed for a corporate headshot last year, the kind of guy who tipped in loose change and eyed the room like he owned it. But embezzlement? Proof? Flashes hit. Jaden asking casual questions about my old job at that temp agency, probing for connections to big firms. The accidental scroll through my emails one hungover morning. It all clicked, poisonous and sharp. I bolted, weaving through the throng. Rain starting as I hit the street, Brooklyn-bound on the subway, soaked and shaking. By the time I slammed our door, the dam had burst. Tears hot and furious, fists pounding the wall till my knuckles split. Jaden burst in an hour later, dripping, eyes wild. Gabe, wait, how did you? I whirled, chest heaving. The gallery. Marcus, you used me, Jaden. For what? Some twisted revenge plot? I let you in. Every scar, every doubt. And you were playing me like one of your fucking portraits. He staggered back, face ashen, collapsing onto the kitchen stool like his strings had been cut. It wasn't like that. Not after the first week. Marcus cornered me after that shoot. Said you'd sabotaged his career, leaked docs or some shit. Offered cash, connections. I was drowning, Gabe, rent due, camera gear busted from that drop on the subway. I said yes because I was desperate, not because I believed him. His voice cracked, hands raking through wet curls. But then you were real, laughing at my shitty jokes, sketching till dawn. Fell hard. Tried to back out a dozen times, but he'd dangle the threats. Tonight I was ending it for good. Rage boiled over, words spilling like the rain outside. You could have told me, trusted me. Instead, you let me fall for you, thinking it was mutual. What if I'd never overheard? We'd be in bed right now, me none the wiser, you carrying that lie like a brick on your chest. He reached for me, but I jerked away, the space between us a chasm. I know, he whispered, tears carving tracks down his face. I hate myself for it. You're the best thing in this mess of a life, Gabe. The guy who sees the shots I miss, who makes the city feel like home. If you walk, I get it. But please, believe I love you. Not the job, not the con. You. The climax hit like thunder. Me screaming until my throat rawed. Him on his knees, begging not forgiveness but understanding. The raw, ugly truth of two broken kids clawing for grace in a city that chews dreams and spits bones. Hours blurred, yells turning to sobs, accusations to confessions. He swore off Marcus, deleted numbers, burned bridges with a single blistering voicemail that echoed through the apartment. We're done. Touch my world again, and I'll expose you myself. I paced, replaying every touch, every whisper, sifting for the lies amid the love. Dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving, painting us in harsh light, him slumped against the fridge, me curled on the floor amid those Polaroids. Us at Coney Island, windswept and grinning. A blurry shot of my first design pitch, his thumb up from across the table. In the quiet, something shifted again. Not absolution, but humanity, the messy grace of flawed hearts colliding. I don't know if I can forget, I said finally, voice hoarse, extending a hand. He took it, tentative, pulling me down beside him. Then don't. Just let me earn it. Day by day. We sat there, backs to the wall, minds still aching faintly from that first rub, as the city woke around us. New York doesn't stop for heartbreak. It roars on, demanding you rise or get trampled. And in that fragile truce, with his head on my shoulder and the rain easing to a drizzle, I chose to rise. Not whole, not yet, but together, stitching wounds with threads of what could be. Betrayal scars deep, but love? It rebuilds, brick by stubborn brick, in the unlikeliest corners of this sprawling beast of a city. Jaden's surprise that night wasn't just a confession. It was a mirror, forcing me to see my own worth amid the shards. We're still figuring it. Therapy sessions squeezed between shifts, honest talks over weak diner coffee. But the ache in my back? It's gone. Replaced by something stronger. The weight of a hand I trust, finally, to hold me up,